Welcome to my new shop. Now this place doesn't even look like the same shop that was here when I purchased this property. We have completely redone everything in here. It is a night and day difference. I'm gonna bring you guys back to 4.5 months ago when this project started. Yo. Now welcome back to the channel with my home dream shop build. This has been going on for almost 4 months now. This has been an absolute nightmare to deal with. This was supposed to be done 3 months ago, but today we're in the final stages. I have since fired the contractors and we're gonna be finishing the rest of the work ourselves. Now so much has changed in this shop space. It is actually just insane looking back to where we started. I'll give you guys a full tour of what it used to look like before and what it looks like now, but right now we're about to go ahead and start painting. Now, my biggest debate was trying to figure out what I wanted to paint this space, and I think I found a pretty good option, and I already have the paint behind us. What I'm gonna do is do a light blue ceiling to kind of emulate a daytime look with all of our natural light that we'll have in here. And then for our walls, we're doing a little bit of an off-white look. I don't want too white of walls, that way it'll get dirty and look dirty. If it's a little off-white, it'll kind of hide a lot of the gross stuff that happens in this space. Dude, that's so goopy. It's like yogurt. It's really white.
It's very white.
It's supposed to be like an off-white. All right, well, we're making some progress here. Almost all of the walls are coated, at least to our reachable level. Thankfully, the contractors left their scaffolding. Gonna go ahead and use this to finish the upper section, but I gained us another helper here. 3 of us trying to get this thing done. Now, I most definitely thought that this was more of a gray. This is pretty white. I think it's gonna look fantastic anyway. Sorry, the lighting in here is not yet connected, but this whole section is done. It's gonna look fantastic. I am gonna do this lower section lean-to in like the sky baby blue color as well. But first, we're gonna go ahead and tackle the rest of the walls. I now know why those need to go. Oh my, I almost just fell. I now know why this construction has taken so long. Looks like instead of doing their job, they're doing a little bit of artwork. Anyway, here's the 10-hour update. We've been at this for a little over 10 hours now, but all of the walls are now painted. And it looks fantastic so far. The next thing we're gonna go ahead and tackle, we just had to go to Home Depot, pick up some more paint tools and new brushes. We're gonna go ahead and start tackling the roof. We're gonna start on the lean-to side, get all of that painted blue, so we can see how the whole corner looks to see if blue is a huge mistake or not before we commit to these very tall ceilings. I feel like this is also a color you have to see the big picture, not just a small like spot on the ceiling. I mean, worst case, we repaint the ceiling, not the end of the world.
Would you go another blue?
Huh?
If you were to repaint, would you go another blue?
Yeah. I would just do a different, and just another blue on top of a blue, just make it a darker blue. It has been an hour and 10 minutes. This was absolutely brutal to do. We're not even quite done. It's like the first layer. We kind of put some clouds in the sky as well. A little unintentionally. This is a huge shoulder workout. I'm sure this set's gonna be a lot easier because we can actually stand on the scaffolding. Here we're like laying down, going in weird angles. I'm still not quite sold on the blue on this section. I still think it's gonna look amazing on the higher ceilings, but we're gonna go ahead, paint that blue, and see what we think.
It's like a playground in here.
It is like a little playground.
It's like Toy Story.
Toy Story. Whether I hate it or love it, I think we're gonna commit to it for some time now. I just need a working shop space so I can start the McLaren, all the other builds, but we're making some progress here. We have the middle section done-ish, waiting to do that side. Our lev racks are in the way. We have that section done. We have this whole section to do. And then tomorrow, or maybe the day after, I have to go through and do finishing work on all of the edges. I don't really feel up to that. It's been like a 12-hour painting day already. This sucks. Now in front of us, we have 2 pallets over from our friends at Lev Rack. Now if you guys don't know what Lev Rack is, it is the sickest shop storage unit I have ever seen ever. I've been a huge fan of their product for many, many years now. I went and talked to them at SEMA this year. So they wanted to help out and sponsor my channel. So they went ahead and sent over a sick unit that we're putting on this entire side wall. That is one of the main reasons I wanted to start painting yesterday. So this wall would be good to go. So we can start assembling this, get it pushed on. That way, when we start getting the shop finished, we actually have some storage and systems in place that we can utilize while we finish up this whole shop. Yeah.
That was easier.
That was a lot easier. We got all of the contents, at least most of the contents, out. We're just doing it each section. I have 3 total units, so this is just everything for one. Thankfully, they have a nice instruction guide they sent in my email that will tell us how to put this thing together. Dude, this is sick.
That's awesome.
Now we're making some progress on the Lev racks. I have Jake over giving me a hand here. He just recently installed his, so he knows how to do this the most efficient way possible. I'm working on this side, he's working over there, but so far, these things are coming out sick. Now I have a 10-foot high by 8-foot unit over on this side. Same exact on this side, and then in the middle, I have an 8-foot workbench that'll be here any day now. Now these have been a system I've wanted to put into a shop for many, many years now, and finally we were able to make it happen. It's gonna clean up the whole look in here. The biggest thing is all these shelves close. So all my stuff that I normally had on an open, exposed, just storage shelf can now sit nicely and neatly in here. I can organize shelves for, like, let's say wiring, fuel pumps, fuel line, whatever it may be, all the oils, fluids, I can just tuckly store it in here. But also another thing you guys might notice is 2 days ago, for the past couple days, I've been working on getting all of the electrical finished up. We now have all of the can lights working and all of my LED bars as well. We have 9, so 3 per section here. But it is so bright in here. The lighting in here is immaculate. We measured where we were placing every single light. So when I walk around this whole shop, everywhere I go is the same consistent lighting. We don't have any dull spots or anything. And this lighting looks so good. Now, as you guys know, my old shop, the shop I still currently lease, that I've been filming all of my videos out of, the lighting in there is absolutely atrocious. That's been my biggest complaint working in there. But since I leased this place, I didn't want to spend thousands of dollars of my own money to put proper lighting in there when I'm just leaving in a couple years. So now that this is at my home shop that we just completely renovated, I had no issue spending the money to make this just perfect. Now we also went through and did all of the finishing work. So now on all of the walls, we have proper outlets. I have actually more power in this shop than I do my home. Granted, my home was built in the 60s. Horrific wiring in that place, but I have so many outlets. I believe I have 28 120 outlets, and then I have a couple of 60 amp 220s as well. I have my 220 for my lift hung up there. I got a 60 amp 220 over here for maybe a welder. I have another 60 amp 220 hidden behind the lever rack so I can open up the door and utilize that. I built this shop to suit every need I would need possibly moving forward. But we are so close to finishing this place up. It is just a horrific mess. The contractors left so much stuff here. Granted, I just fired them because they were taking so long to do a job that was supposed to take 4 to 6 weeks. We are now on the 4.5 month mark. I've completed more in the last couple days. Granted, I've been working 14 hours a day in here than they have in the entire month. So we have a ton of cleanup left ahead of us. And then we can get the McLaren pushing here and start our first build episode.
Yeah, keep going, you're good. You're good. Keep going, you're good. No, you're good. Oh yeah, no, yeah, you're good right there. That's about right.
Excuse the loud noise in the background, we have the heater going, but right now we have our 13 bags of concrete mix as we're gonna be filling in the gap that used to be the wall separating the lean-to from the main shop. So right now we have a couple bags loaded up in the wheelbarrow, mixing some water, time to get some concrete laid. Well, we got the scissor lift dropped back off. I rented it for 24 hours, but now all of my seams in the shop look perfect. It was impossible to get to with the ladder, so having that scissor lift was most definitely useful. We also got the concrete laid as well. It looks pretty good, especially for a home job first timer. So this is about 24 hours cured so far. I'm not really walking or doing anything on here. It was just a 4-inch hole in the floor before. So if I ever want to move stuff from side to side, now we can very easily. But the next thing I need to do as we're wrapping the shop up this weekend, as Monday, my goal is to start the rebuild series on this. So I want to do my whole shop review as this is a crazy transformation from what it used to be. But the thing we need to do now is drill into our concrete to see if it's thick enough to install a lift. If not, we're starting the first episode of this rebuild without a lift, which isn't the biggest deal in the world. So in front of us, we have the good old Harbor Freight Hercules hammer drill with a drill bit. Let's go ahead and drill this in. Moment of truth. Now we have our makeshift measuring tool here, a hanger that we bent the bottom of it on. This is gonna catch the bottom of the concrete, we'll mark where it is. Hopefully, it just needs to be 4 1/4, preferably a little bit thicker. I think I am gonna use an epoxy bond on the anchor bolt when we do install it. Just make sure the bolts don't go anywhere, but is it gonna be thick enough?
I don't know, I'm scared.
I'm scared too. Well, it's still going.
Are you gonna be able to catch it?
I can't I'm kinda stuck.
Okay, Remy left, but I have confirmed it's about 3 3/4 inches. I used a flashlight so I could actually see when I was hitting dirt. And it's about right there. So, not quite.
But as you guys saw a couple clips ago, I drilled my concrete to see how thick it was, if it was thick enough to install my 2-post lift. And unfortunately, it is not. And that sets back our timeline of installing a lift about a month, as it takes that long for the concrete to cure enough to hold the weight of an actual car. And I don't want to risk it. I don't want to cut any corners, as the last thing I want is this car collapsing, especially if I'm under there. It is not safe. So for the meantime, we're gonna start this work on the ground, get this thing up in the air, start stripping it down. In the background, we're gonna go through and cut out our slab, pour new concrete, probably 6 to 8 inches thick, install our lift, and then continue all this stuff. Now, a big question I'm sure I'm gonna get is, why am I doing this now? Why did I invest all of this money to build this home shop rather than continue leasing? Now for me, there are many, many different reasons. One is actually the tax incentive I get with this building, as my business, my social media business, can now rent this from my other business, which owns my home. There's tons of tax benefits behind it, and also I'd rather be paying towards my mortgage than to someone else where I'll never see that money again, and it's just investing in the property value itself. But then that brings, how much money did I spend to completely transform this shop? Now, the original quote I got from the contractors was $40,000 flat. Now, I have then spent a little bit more money. I completely redid all of the electrical. I now have a 250 amp service out here. Tons of upgrades I made along the way. So I'm right about $45,000 for contracting stuff. And then when I took over, there's paint, stuff like that. To redo this entire shop, we're looking at just under $50,000. But now, without any of you guys, none of this would be possible. My social media has been growing exponentially, where I'm now actually making a decent income from this, where now I feel worthwhile putting the investment to build out the shop space, as this is where all of the builds are now gonna take place. And right behind us, as you guys have seen, we have this insane McLaren 720 rebuild ahead of us. It is just crazy to look back to where I was exactly a year ago today, It is absurd, and I'm so happy to see where this takes us another year from now. The shop layout is pretty simple. This is going to be our main workspace. We're gonna have a 2-post lift here. This is where all the main work gets done. We have all of our storage, our toolbox, our workbench is going in that corner. So over here is gonna be all of the dirty work. On this section, I do plan to keep this as a clean section. The Honda will more than likely be sitting here. I'll be building engines and whatnot over here, welding, whatever it may be. We just have so much more space to play with now. But here we go, guys. This is the dream shop reveal that I've been hiding, at least on YouTube, in the background for many months now. I'm so excited to finally show you guys the somewhat finished result, like I mentioned with the lift, ton of other small things like that. But this is now, every video you guys see will be the new home of all of the builds. But thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you guys are just as excited as I am that this is now our new home, which means the next video, at least I think the next video, is gonna be the first build episode of my new McLaren 720S. Now, if you guys enjoyed today's video and are excited to see what builds we have progressing in the future, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to stay tuned as we have some crazy things coming.